The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah! Go Cowboys! This is Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw Dating, preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and broadcasting live from Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters at the Star. Now, your hosts, Christy Scales, Aisha Morrison, Nicole Hutchison, and Jess Navarez.
What's up? Welcome into Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Nicole Hutchison alongside Aisha Morrison and Jess Navarez in the SWBC studio. I feel really I don't know, it's a good day today. Even though it's raining outside, I
good
feel
vibes.
like I got good vibes, you know. Great day of practice. Why are you looking like that?
Not good vibes on that side of the table?
What is
I'm blinking through the pain.
Ah,
I am tired,
we'll
y'all.
keep our good
feel
vibes
it.
on this side of the table.
right?
I have good vibes, y'all. It's not
You
bad.
can keep your
vibes.
bad vibes on that side of the table.
Damn,
keep them
I'm here
away, girl.
cheery, and she looking at me like I'm returning.
I will listen. And
Your lemonade Sprite real good.
okay,
I'm sorry.
let's get.
Sorry.
Great vibes.
Great vibes. Like at practice today. A little things to note, of course. Cavante Turpin, to be determined. But we saw Deuce Vaughn taking some returner reps. We got to see Martavius Bryant. Let's see where we want to start, though. Let's start with Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah.
We don't know the status of Cavante Turpin just yet, but if he is questionable for Sunday, what does that look like as far as on special teams with Deuce Vaughn?
Yeah, I caught up with both of them in the locker room today because during practice I did notice Terp was kind of standing behind Deuce, and then Deuce would take the rep, and then Terp would kind of go up to him, point some things out, talk to him for a little while, so almost coaching him through.
Come on, mentor.
And it was
Terp, right?
It was really cool to see. So I talked to Terp, caught up with him, talked to him for a little while, just giving a little update on his injury, how he's feeling, and overall, again, it's just day by day at this point with him. Went to Deuce's locker, saw him, talked to him, and he said he feels good, he feels fresh. Keep in mind, Deuce Vaughn hasn't been active for the previous 3 games, so this would, if Terp isn't available, it's likely that you would probably see Deuce taking those reps. Despite having a lot of numerous options that could do it, Deuce is probably the guy to step in and do that in that case. And so Deuce said he feels good, he has some juice in his tank, Deuce with the juice, and overall the message was, it was just like that next guy up mentality again with that situation. But to be determined, we don't know. And this week's schedule, I think it's worth noting, was a little weird with the walkthrough on Wednesday, practice today. Almost seemed like a little bit of a veteran rest day, what it would have been on Wednesday if it wasn't a walkthrough. Kind of taking it step by step. But I think what you see from your Saturday walkthrough will kind of determine guys like Cavante for Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, in regard to.
My bad, go ahead.
Yeah, that's cool. In regard to Deuce, I do think that him getting these reps is valuable. We know he has explosiveness and things like that, but I do believe that him having the opportunity to return can also build some confidence. In order to get on the field, and for most teams, especially for a young player like Deuce, special teams is important. And I do believe that if he's able to show some things that he can do there, it'll definitely be something to look at later in the season if he's successful there, if Turpin doesn't go, or if there's some issues there. And as far as practice today, I really just was paying attention to some of the drills that they were doing. Dan Quinn kind of spoke on the fact that, in the numbers say so, is that when this defense doesn't get turnovers, the Cowboys have suffered 3 losses this year. And so the third down and then also the turnovers are something that I think that they're really trying to focus on. So I was watching the defensive line doing some drills where they drive on the sled and they're having to locate the ball and they're going to punch the ball out of the defender's hand. And I just thought that was something interesting. Mike McCarthy's talked about how a lot of turnovers are coming from strip fumbles this year as opposed to interceptions. And so I was just looking at little things that maybe they're doing. We don't get to just be around practice, but even though it was a kind of seemed like a more chill portion of practice we were able to see. I do feel like there was some high intensity in some of these drills that they were running that they weren't playing around. So cool things, some cool things. It's really awesome watching DQ coach and just seeing him get involved in stuff. It's just, indoor practices are elite to me.
It makes me want to run through a wall for him.
That's exactly what
when
Patrick
we were
Walker
talking
said.
about it.
Yeah, he said
like just watching him
just makes you want to run through a wall for him. It's pretty dope. And while we're on the defensive side of the ball, Marquise Bell limited in today's practice with a calf injury. Thoughts on that as far as, I mean, I'm sure he should be a good to go for this Sunday, but if not, like what would that do for this guy?
You need him. You need him.
Yeah.
You need him to continue to build the confidence and his strength within the linebacker room and in that position overall, because he's still, it's still new to him. He's still transitioning and he's still building muscle memory, essentially, from switching, from a previous position into linebacker. And so during practice, did see him working with Britt Brown on the resistance ropes a little bit. But right before practice was closed to media, I did see him going over towards kind of individual drills, I guess at that point is what it was. So it doesn't seem like it's going to be an issue, but I mean, a calf issue, it can be worrisome because it's something that can be nagging. And so definitely keeping a close eye on him overall, but you need him. He's growing strength within that room. Him and Damone Clark are both just continuing to take this big jump together, especially without Leighton in. We talk about it a lot, but it's important to note what big shoes they have to fill without him in there. So hoping for the best for Marquise. He wasn't in the locker room. I was hoping to catch up with him. Didn't see him today or yesterday. So, keeping a close eye on it. But it doesn't seem like picking up on talking to some people, it doesn't seem like it's going to be much of an issue.
Yeah, and I hope not. This is a game where I don't want to say that you don't need him, but you don't need to push him too much if he doesn't need to be pushed, right?
Sure.
And because you got to play the long game around this time of the season. You got to think about, week 16, week 15, those types of games. So you don't want to be rushing people. Sorry, excuse me, y'all. You don't want to be rushing guys, pushing them to limits that they don't need to be pushed at this point in the season. But let's talk about Martavius Bryant. Y'all, he's huge.
Huge.
Like, I could literally see why they were so impressed with his size. He literally stands over the top of all the receivers in that room.
Oh yeah, it's different. It's different. I was like, KD, is this
you?
Does KD have blocks? Is this what's happening now? But I I can see why if he does, and it sounds like he still has the ability to run. I think I saw a video with him having like a GPS tracker on. If he still has the ability to run, and with his size, he looks different than everybody else. He just does from a receiving standpoint. His length, his hands are just massive. Again, we talked about it yesterday, what to expect from him, or just kind of, I had the opportunity to meet him today, went up to him, introduced myself, and he just seems like, very much so. He seems very grateful for the opportunity, number one. But he also does, to your point yesterday, Jess, he does seem like he's not here to just play around. He's definitely here to see, to see what he's still capable of, and to show people he's still capable of. So, I definitely get the hype as far as his size and just how different his appearance is and his presence is, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he has a presence to him as well. So, and we're all for a comeback story. I don't care what anyone says.
And he takes accountability for his past.
Sure.
And that was something that yesterday when he was doing his first media interview with us in the locker room, it's the first thing he did was take accountability. And he was very open and raw and honest, saying, I've been in very dark places the past 5 years. He said, I'd rather not talk about it because I'm moving forward from that. But, he continued to play in multiple leagues, more recently the XFL. He talked about his time there. But overall, when you see him at practice, he does. He stands out with the size and the height. But something that's worth noting, because I tweeted pictures of him at practice, and my mentions are just blowing up with people responding things. Something to mention is typically when you get a new player in, especially, somebody like Martavius who hasn't necessarily played in the NFL for a while, you're probably going to see a ramp-up phase. I don't think that the Cowboys are in a position that they need to do anything rash to activate him anytime soon. And so yesterday when he was talking in the locker room, he talked a lot about learning the playbook, first of all, and that's a lot. That's a lot to learn when you're coming into this scheme and this system. It's a lot for him to catch up on. So I don't necessarily see him being activated for this game, but I also don't see a need to activate him anytime quickly. It's not something urgent. Allow him to settle in. He admitted yesterday he's in shape, but not football shape, and they're two different things. Let him get back into football shape, learn the playbook, and take his time to get back in, because you don't want to rush somebody to go in before they're ready as well. So just wanted to mention that because the Twitter mentions were going a little crazy saying, oh, is he going to play on Sunday? No. Let's take a breath, everybody. Let's chill for a second.
I mean, even so, he's going to have to go through special teams, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of a rite of passage, and most of the time players have to do that. I'm not sure if that's something he's done in a while, too. So he also has to, get in and start doing that as well. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool to meet the player, put a face to the name, and actually see him today. Yeah.
Yeah, and to both of you all's point about him being grateful for this opportunity, he touched yesterday on how, like, what helped him with his maturity and growing the past couple of years was his bond with DeAndre Hopkins. He kind of really helped him, as far as, like, growing mentally. And so I think that's pretty awesome as well that he's here strictly business, so we'll see what he can do eventually. Hopefully, I know Mike McCarthy said that it's to be determined about if we even see him this season or things like that. So it should be interesting. Let's talk about this offense, y'all. Let's get it cracking. What is it that y'all want to see? I know we kind of touched on it yesterday a little bit. What is it that y'all want to see on Sunday against the Giants from this offense? If you had to pick one thing. I'm sorry.
Man.
I had to make it difficult.
Can I start with a point and then trickle into something else?
Nope.
Because it ties in together.
Okay.
So it can technically be 1 point. Okay, I'll pick one. You know what I'll pick is
I'll pick the first thing you want to see on Sunday.
Terrence Steele have a better game.
Okay.
Because we got to talk to him in the locker room today, and he took accountability for how he's been playing. He was very open, very honest, very raw about it. And I appreciate a guy that can come out and even talk to media after having the kind of performance he did on Sunday. That takes a lot, guys. I mean, that media scrum, it can be unforgiving depending on the day. And they're, as media, you just want answers to what's going on. And he went in there in the locker room and just said, yeah, I'll talk to you guys. And he was very open, very raw, very honest, talking about his injury and talking about overcoming it and how kind of the process has been and how he's leaning on his family a lot right now to go through it. And it's a lot for him physically and mentally as we're seeing. But also, you want a guy that's coachable and wanting to get better in that sense, that knows he has to get better. He's not above being honest about it. And so for me personally, I want to start to see his confidence growing back or coming back and growing within the sense that he had a bad game.
Yeah.
Call it what it is. Took accountability, and now he's taking progression to go forward and learn from that. I know it's easier said than done, obviously, because he's coming back from a massive injury, and he came back early, and I think people tend to forget that. But also, I just want to see him rebuild that confidence because, man, when Terrence Steele is feeling good, that whole line is just going to be a threat. That is going to be a wall. So really hoping to see him have a better game and less quarterback pressures, less sacks allowed. Obviously, would be nice. Yeah. But I think this is the game again. You talk about a measuring stick. Start to build that use it to be a confidence builder for him going forward.
Okay, Aisha, what you want to see, girl?
I really just want to see if they build upon some of the things that I felt like I saw on film that they saw in the run game was working for them. We talked about, you mentioned, obviously we just talked about Terrence Steele and just him finding his way. And I really want to see what the response is to how they find ways to help him out when he needs help, or just establishing this run game and how they're, using the run and the play action and stuff is. And this is, again, I'm going to say this, and I hope this is not deemed disrespectful in any way, but this game to me is so much more about the Cowboys and what they do and the little improvements that we notice from them than a Giants team that is truly trying to figure out some things on their end. They're on their third string quarterback. Their offensive line has dealt with a whole bunch of injuries. They're not getting much from their receiver game. It's just, listen, they got a lot going on over there. So I want to see how they go into a game where they know that, the other team is struggling, how they respond, but also too just specifically the run game. There were some things in this past game that I saw that they started to get going, and talking to some of the guys today, it feels like they did kind of feel like they figured out some things in the run game. So how they build upon that, because baby, it's about to get cold and you need to be able to run the ball.
Yeah.
You ain't got to be this dominating, like demoralizing force, but you do need to be able to consistently move the ball, running the ball, distributing the ball when it starts getting cold and it's coming. So that's what I'm looking for this game, and I'm hoping that we see some improvements there.
Yeah. I want to see, I feel like I've said this multiple times, but I mean it. I want to see Cooks get involved, right?
Oh, yeah.
This is a game that, screw it. Like, we haven't given him the ball. We haven't distributed the ball as well as we should have. This is a game where you try it. And Cooks talked about it in the locker room that I know the media is thinking that he's frustrated, but he's really not frustrated. He's just trusting Dak, right? He's just trusting the process. And he's been really big on his faith his whole life, but really this season. And so he was just saying, like, that's just who I am. I just trust the process. And so I want to see if Dak and him can kind of work through that connection and maybe even see him get some action this week. I think 17 receptions
It's
here.
time.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
It's been time.
Yeah, it's been time.
They figured out,
Yeah.
like, to your point, we talked about the lack of CD. We talked about the lack of Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
It's time to figure out this number 3. It's time to figure out how to consistently incorporate him into this offense. So I totally agree. It's time, because I do believe that if they continue to build upon, if there's some things to build upon this game, you can take that into the latter part of the season, and your aerial attack really is a threat. Like, you need him.
Yep.
You need him.
You need all those
He's
guys.
here,
Yep.
and I understand that it's a lot of gentlemen to get the ball to, but at the same token, especially too with the Turpin injury and what he's been doing,
Yep.
there's some productivity to fill that number 3 could, because he's a speed option too. He can do
Yeah.
a lot of the things that even Turpin does as well. You're right, girl.
fast.
You're right. I know you're fed up with it. She is not playing. She said, get this gentleman
Get him the ball.
I'm
Let
tired
Cooks
of it.
cook.
Like, I'm sick and tired.
Well-
I mean, I'm sick and tired, but I'm also like, I feel like it's coming. But I don't know.
And just, you can't ignore it. I don't think you can ignore it
This whole
anymore.
thing is giving Onion, where it's like, it's a layer. It's giving Shrek. But really, no, it is true. The way you explained it, Aisha, is you start with one thing and you keep unfolding and you keep going and you keep going and you keep going. This is just the next layer that they have to peel of this onion, right?
Yeah.
And
With a new offense.
With a new offense, with a new offensive coordinator and a new play caller. If nobody expected growing pains after all that change in the offseason, y'all, come on. There was going to be a little bit, but now you're hitting that halfway mark of the season. You're running out of time to use that, hey, we're still adjusting, mindset. And so now it's perfecting. It's no longer adjusting to it. It's perfecting it, and it's making it better. And so, I wouldn't be surprised to see Cooks cooking.
We need the sprinkles. We need it,
that speed.
We need it all. We need the caramel
Need that
sauce
speed.
and the sprinkles.
Stop, you're making me hungry.
Stop playing games here. Like,
Yeah, you should stop playing games. I'm
Gotcha.
hungry over here.
I commend him for being so humble and I trust the process. And he really, and it's crazy because he's so genuine about it.
Yeah,
and I think a lot of that is because he is a veteran. Because I was wondering that with you can look at the snap count. You can tell that Jalen Tolbert is starting to get some of those snaps, and so I was wondering, how does it feel when you see, and I think that's a huge part of it, is that he's mentored a CD. He takes mentoring them seriously, mentoring Jalen Tolbert seriously. And as you said yesterday, Jez, they're happy for him. They are legitimately happy that CD is, emerging.
Yep.
But that we still have to figure out how to distribute the ball to the other gentlemen that are on this team, especially if they were brought here to be playmakers.
All right.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. All right, well, we will keep getting it right after this break. We're going to take our first break. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
We know that juicy, cheesy, grilled to perfection burger sounds amazing, but it does sound like something is missing. Pepsi, baby! The yin to this burger's yang. Burgers and Pepsi go together like burgers and Pepsi. This perfect blending of flavors makes every bite of lettuce, every sesame seed on the bun, and every sip of that crisp, refreshing, ice-cold cola a journey to Foodtopia. Burgers, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that 6th ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
To AT&T Stadium on Saturday, November 11th to experience Rally Day presented by SeatGeek. Celebrate Veterans Day with special presentations from the Color Guard and Junior ROTC drill team, plus a 21-gun salute. Take a tour of AT&T Stadium, get autographs from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and alumni, play games, head outside to the Miller Lighthouse, and even play on the field. Visit AT&TStadium.com/Rally Days for tickets and more information.
Okay, Rally Day.
I'm excited about Veterans Day on Saturday.
Thank you for your service.
Because I'm
thank
going
you.
to get all my snacks. And
All your free stuff?
yeah, I didn't.
As you should.
People have told me about it for years. Like, they do, all my friends and stuff. They literally go, when I was still in, we would go in groups to, like, Buffalo Wild Wings or, like, all the different places. But now that I've been out, it's just something I just don't do. But I also have to tell myself it's okay. Because I feel like I'd be like, oh, no, I don't want to take advantage of anything or anything, but I think I want to go get my snacks this year.
Go get your
I want to go get
snacks.
my stuff this year.
Go get your snacks, girl.
I'm excited.
Where did you
about it.
serve?
Army Guard. Army Guard. I did 8 years. It was a good experience. My last 2, I was pretty quiet. I didn't really do much of anything, but it was a good experience for me, and I enjoyed it, and I met a lot of great people. So, yeah, changed my life. That's why I'm here.
Period. Well, we actually have our salute to service game on Sunday against the Giants.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
I'm so
Gonna be fun.
excited.
Yeah.
Got to see some of the, if I'm not mistaken, there were some veterans in here today with their
A lot.
service animals. There was a lot of service
The
animals.
cutest little
Guys,
dog with the glasses.
I don't know whose
glasses.
dog this is, and I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Like, your dog's about to be aired on here.
Yeah.
Look at this.
I literally
Can
took
you
the picture
see
of
that?
the dog
Look,
earlier.
look, you got to put it closer to the.
We can't.
Look at his face with the hat. Well,
With the flag.
This is my Roman Empire.
Please.
This dog is my
Yeah.
Roman Empire.
Literally.
He's
It's
wearing
gonna-
sunglasses.
It's a good day.
It is a good day. It's a good day.
Please. Please.
The
but
joy
no,
this brings me.
Let's go ahead and get ready to break down this matchup. I know this Giants team has been through the ringer as far as injuries, especially as of late. They'll be out without their starting quarterback, Daniel Jones, tearing his ACL.
It's rough.
So now they're relying on a rookie QB making his first start, Tommy DeVito.
Not to be confused with Danny DeVito.
Not to be confused.
Please.
We're not confused.
We're not. Look, I've heard it multiple times though.
Really?
People.
It just rolls off the tongue,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, no, not to be confused. It's Tommy DeVito making his first start. And I think he's only made 2 appearances in the league, in the NFL so far this season. And that's just because out of necessity, again. So what have y'all seen on film? The little film that there is, and that's no shade, I'm sorry.
But yeah, this offense is
he's
struggling.
new.
It's just,
He's
yeah.
new.
Oh, good.
No, she's just
I would
saying
say
no
that's
shade,
no
and I'm like,
shade.
no,
That's
there's really no film.
What have you seen though?
Even before he was there. I mean, they haven't put up more than 16 points in eternity. It's just this offense is just really struggling. But it really starts with the offensive line. They gave up 8 sacks last week. You have Andrew Thomas that is coming off of, he had an injury earlier this season, so he's kind of trying to get a feel back, and he's been one of the better left tackles in football. But we all know with the offensive line is that if one person is injured, there's a lot of compensating going on, but the majority of his offensive line has changed. So they have a left guard, Justin Pugh. He's been struggling. He's a guy that they brought in last minute because they had an injury, and he's given up a lot of pressures, 12 to be exact, through the last 4 weeks. Yeah. And Evan Neal, their right tackle, he is out, I believe. I believe he will be out. I'm not sure. But he suffered a left ankle sprain last week. And so that could matter, because I'm telling you, Tank sees Evan Neal across from him, and I don't know if he feels like disrespected or what, but he always goes crazy against the Giants, so we'll be looking at that. And they also have, is it Bredson, I believe is his? Yeah, Ben Bredson at right guard. He's been filling in there. Actually, Justin Pugh is the left guard. Bredson is the right guard, and he's given up quite a few pressures as well. I expect for the Cowboys to take advantage of the inexperience on this offensive line, but also to hostile environment. AT&T is becoming a place that is hard to play in, and the lack of continuity. So I expect a lot of stunning and some exotic looks from DQ to let these guys get home consistently, because this offensive line.
And you look at their injury report.
It's
1,
stacked.
2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 offensive linemen that either did not participate in practice today or they were limited. And Evan Neal, actually one of those guys, he didn't even participate. So it just goes to show how.
Yeah, they're struggling. They have they've given
struggling.
out the most sacks. They've given up the most sacks in the NFL with 49 sacks, and we're halfway through the season. That's actually more than, that's like about the amount that like a bad team would give up, respectfully, through the whole season. It's and so to your point about Tommy DeVito, who's trying to come in and figure some things out, they're not able to do much through the air because there's just not enough time. So expect a Saquon, a lot of Saquon.
I just feel for their team right now and where they are, because it's already hard enough losing your starting quarterback for the rest of the season. That's a morale hitter when you're already kind of low. Yeah. And then that just, it's like the final blow to already a challenging season for them, right? And looking at these stats, and this is absolutely a game the Cowboys should win by a lot. They rank 32 in total offense, team offense across the NFL. They rank last in yards per play. They rank last in, passing net yards per game. They rank last in points per game. And then, field goal percentage combined offensive, defensive rankings. Yikes.
It hurts.
I mean, I truly feel for them losing Daniel Jones in the season, because that's your leader, right? Your quarterback is your leader. That's your ringleader, if you will, of everything. And so I can't imagine where their team morale is. And so for them to go into this matchup with the Cowboys of all teams at AT&T Stadium, knowing this longest active win streak in the NFL right now at home for the Cowboys, which is 11, they could possibly stack another win on that in 12. But I can't imagine how you prepare your team for this.
I mean,
I can't imagine.
Losing that's
a lot.
That's really the backbreaker, because if you were to lose a Daniel Jones, you say to yourself, Tyrod Taylor's been in this league for a while. He can come in. He maybe can keep us afloat. Yes, absolutely reliable, has some mobility, whatever, and you lose him as well. It has to be a gut punch, and just ACLs are tough, man. You see it every year with different players, and that just sucks just to see a non-contact injury the way that it happened with Daniel Jones. They also don't have Waller, who they just brought in this year, and so it's just.
I think is it hamstring or something?
I don't know. I think
it is hamstring.
Is it a hammy?
The thing is, it's just. You have to feel for them and the state of their team right now, because you go back to the week 1 of the season, and they had just so much really going for them at that point. And so Dak talked about it today in the locker room of, hey, you've seen this opponent before, but keep in mind there were very different circumstances between that team and this team. But something I did like from Dak is he talked about he's an foot on the pedal kind of guy. When they asked, they asked him during the media scrum, would you want to ideally kind of wrap this up by halftime and then just kind of be done with it, or ensure the win? And he's like, I'm a foot on the pedal kind of guy here. I'm not trying to get in a situation where we think we have the win and then we're fighting for our life in the fourth quarter. And so the Cowboys aren't going into this. It doesn't seem like they're going into this, especially coming off of the loss from Philly, thinking that they have this in the bag.
Well, you can't, because then it's going to be Cardinals game all over again.
That's the nature of the NFL. You can't under-prepare for your opponent despite their struggles on the other side. And so I don't expect the Cowboys to take it easy on them. And feeding frenzy for Micah Parsons, for Tank Lawrence, for Osa Odigizua. I mean, I feel for Tommy DeVito, guys.
He got some mobility to him, though. Like
I do feel for him, though. When you have mobility, that's great. But when you have a lion coming at you, you have a tank coming at you.
Fear for your life.
That's a lot. But
yeah.
But also, you want to talk about a measuring stick game. Let's look at it from the Giants' point of view. This could be a measuring stick game for what they have left in their tank. If they want to throw it all out there, now's the game to do it against the Cowboys. And you've seen it time and time again happen with teams that are struggling. Look at the Texans game last season. Just a little reminder of how much they threw out at that point.
And it was another thing, too, even with the Tommy DeVito thing. Like,
am I wrong?
You were right. You were 100% right.
They treated that like their Super Bowl, girl.
They did. They sure did.
Yeah, there is an element of it. They don't really know much about the quarterback. They don't really know much about, they might throw some unscouted things at them, some stuff that they haven't seen. It's just when things go off script, though. Yeah. I don't know, man. They do still have some pieces on their defense that I do think the Giants that I do think are going to make some plays. But yeah, as far as this offense goes, they're just really struggling to get anything going on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, Saquon has 502 yards on the year. He's averaging four yards a carry. So, again, when you talk about what are we looking for in this game, again, to me, more about the Cowboys, less about what the Giants do. I really want to see how the Cowboys run defense contains, how they're able to, because again, it doesn't mean it may not be guys making the play, but I still want to see how they react, how they get square, how they're tackling, all that stuff, because that still is telling me something about the Cowboys as a defense, despite the fact that their opponent is struggling to move the ball consistently. So that's what I'm looking for.
All right, well, we were going to take our second break real fast. You're watching Girls Talk, Boys Talk, presented by Jigsaw, the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll be right back.
At Jigsaw Dating, we obviously want the Cowboys to bring that sixth ring home. But to be honest, we're more focused on finding the person who will put a ring on your finger. That's why we created a dating app that reveals your face through meaningful conversation, so you can date deeper. Because it's personality that matters the most, not looks. Join Jigsaw Dating today, dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Hello, we're going to talk about our NFL Fan of the Year. Sean Polite, I really hope I'm saying your name right, is your 2023 Dallas Cowboys Fan of the Year, and now he needs your help. Go vote for Sean to be given the ultimate title of the NFL Fan of the Year, presented by Captain Morgan, by casting your vote at NFL.com/Fan of the Year. Go help our guy Sean out. Sean, you have our full support. We hope you win. So go vote for him.
Okay.
I don't know,
Heard
Sean.
you.
I just
it's okay.
we gotta support our people.
Yeah, we gotta
know?
support.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Go vote. Sorry, my bad. Well, Aisha's looking at us like,
Well, it's because I read his last name and I was like, oh man, I hope I'm saying this right. So I had a little moment of panic, but we worked through it. It's fine.
No worries. Let's talk about our offense, the Cowboys offense. We, of course, talked about a little bit what we want to see from this defense, considering what the Giants present as of right now. What do you want to see from this Cowboys offense? I know we talked about we want to see them get that run game going a little bit. You want to see Terrence Steele step up and have a big game as well. But, yeah, what do y'all want to see as far as this Cowboys offense?
I guess I definitely want to see a fast start.
Okay.
I'm a little. I wouldn't say I'm concerned, but I definitely am looking at how they start the game. I just feel like the 3 and outs to start games have been hurtful in a way, and so I just want to see how fast they start, and I think it'll be an indicator quickly of just how locked in they are. I will say with the home games, I think Mike McCarthy's mentioned just them being able to be in their routine, wake up in their own bed and stuff. They just seem fresh when there's home games. So I'm just looking at how they start the game and what they're able to do from there. Maybe like I don't know, maybe pass on first down.
Yeah.
And see what happens or something. I mean, I just want to see what they do. I just want to see what they do.
Be aggressive.
And then
early,
don't get me wrong, like we talked about, the Giants still do have some good defensive pieces. Dexter Lawrence is still that guy. Like, don't get it twisted. He is still that guy. Kayvon Thibodeau is a gentleman that's been on an uptick this year, playing edge. They still have Gerard Ward, Adoree Jackson. I know he's questionable, but in their secondary is coming along with Deonte Banks out there on the outside from Maryland. He's a rookie. Their secondary does have a few players that are still learning and finding their way. So I'm not going to sit up here and act like their defense is just, their defense is really having a hard time because they're on the field so much because this offense can't do anything. So I just feel like the Cowboys need to score early.
Well, that's
aggressive.
something that I feel like they should take advantage of. Their offense isn't doing too much, so wear them down. Wear them down early. And I kind of want to see that aggressive start too. You see you look at the past couple of games, and you're seeing Dak get demolished early on. Get sacked. So I want to see this offensive line really, kind of be stern early on, set the tone early on, and I think that'll kind of set the tone for the rest of the game. That's what I want to see.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the starters sitting by the fourth quarter.
Oh, okay.
Again?
I
Are
do.
you sure?
Yeah, I do. I do because, look, I know we talk about this a lot of how your bye week's already passed. Your bye week is long gone now.
I mean,
you have a long season to go.
That's fair.
And you take your rest where you can take it because this is a game that if you can get that early lead, sit your starters, take it. You're at the point in the season now where you have to start thinking long term. You have to start thinking ahead a little bit to say, hey, if we want CD fresh come January, we need to start, thinking in that terms a little bit. And it's just, especially after the physical game that they played in Philly, they're hurting this week. Everyone's a little sore. I mean, you talk to the guys, they're sore. And it's just, one, it's that part of the season. Two, they came off of a really physical game in Philadelphia. So for me, I want this game to just be signed, sealed, delivered, third quarter, get it done. There's no reason this game should extend in that far into the fourth quarter. And if it does, it's a product of, I think, this Giants defense putting pressure on the offensive line. And I really think that's the only thing that you can say if the game doesn't go past that point and the Cowboys haven't wrapped it up with a pretty little bow, it's because the offensive line is struggling a little bit. So, you were talking about Kayvon Thibodeau. You want to know who has more sacks than Micah Parsons this season?
Him.
Kayvon Thibodeau, second in the league with 8.5 sacks so far. So when you're talking about a fast start of an offensive line that has allowed multiple sacks in the first possession multiple times now, that worries me a little bit.
If
they're gonna bully you.
Sorry,
No,
I did not
they're
know.
gonna bully you,
Yeah.
and you got to be prepared for it.
If you had to pick one person that the game is going to boil down to, who would it be?
The quarterback.
Yeah,
No question.
The quarterback, number 4. Just go out there and execute.
Yeah.
Get get it over with.
Yeah.
I will say, like, I actually still am, like, torn. Like, you're right about them being done at the fourth quarter. Like, I want the starters out. Like, but I do feel like this season and how lopsided it is just, it's frustrating. Like, it's frustrating. Again, and this game hasn't come and gone yet, so I don't want to make any guesses. But if that is the case, I'm like, dang, man, because you're not riding the same momentum when you're sitting your starters in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But then also, because a lot of these games haven't been close, again, you can't do anything about how well you executed in those moments.
Right.
But it's also just like, but when situations like Philly late in the game come up and you don't, like, your team, it's a foreign thing to your team.
Not prepared.
In totality, because some of them have experienced that, some of them have not, where it's up-tempo, you're trying to figure things out, communication. They haven't had a whole bunch of that this year, and I'm just ready for them to, maybe we'll see it in the latter part of the year, but it's just like, I love them being done, and you're 100% right, but then at the same time, it's like, God, is this how football's supposed to go?
It's
Like,
also just been a weird schedule. Like, you look back at the opponents kind of mixed in and the games that they've had, and to your point from yesterday, it hasn't been consistent. I mean, you have really big wins, and then you have these really, like, demoralizing losses to a sense, and you have another big win. It's kind of just up and down at this point where it just needs to stay consistent. So if you're going to play all 4 quarters, just keep it consistent. And really this week their focus should be executing on the things they didn't last week that led to the loss and continuing to use that measuring stick to go forward. So if that takes them into the fourth quarter, if you see improvement and that improvement's there with the O-line, with the run game, with getting Beat Cooks more involved, with continuing to get Jake Ferguson more involved, with continuing to grow that chemistry with CeeDee and Dak, do it. But the point is, this is a game you shouldn't be scrambling for in the fourth quarter by any means. This should not come down to like it did against the Eagles, because you're talking about a Philly team which is very different from the Giants team. So, look, don't give the Giants team a confidence boost by allowing it to get that close in the fourth quarter.
So wait, were you saying that you think that they should just play all the way through to?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm just talking about the situation as a whole.
Okay.
I'm talking about the fact that, like, through this season so far, you've gotten these really big wins, and then there hasn't been, like we talked about, the Cardinals game was just a bad game. It was just terrible. 49ers game, complete blowout. And then you have the Philly game where it's close, it's late. Again, I do think that's a learning experience for this team, but it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things that you can't complain about because they're getting these games done early, and they do turn the switch on to finish the game, and then you have your starter sitting in the fourth.
Yeah.
But it also too it's such a weird feeling because I do believe this team does need that experience playing, playing through games and finishing things. And also too, Dak has even mentioned it, the fact that he doesn't want guys to think that's normal. Like, he said that. He's like, I've talked to the younger guys especially, like, yeah, this is not normal. Don't get used to this. And so, I mean, if it happens again, it's just like, dang, like, it's not bad, but at the same time, I don't know if it's good consistently for this team, especially with you having some younger guys on the roster and stuff. So, I don't know. I'm venting. It's not something that can be fixed or changed. If they play well, they play well. Like, who can't do anything about it? But the grand scheme of things, it's just not normal to not be playing in the fourth quarter. Like, it's just not. And as many times as this happened this season where your second string is out there and your second string offensive line is out there, boy, most teams aren't seeing situations like that. And so it's just like, okay, y'all, well, let's go. Let's figure out how to win the close games, too.
Yeah.
Let's just go ahead and do that and put it together. So
I think I'm on the fence of both sides, and I say that because your next 2 games include, so this game this week, and then next week you play the Carolina Panthers, right? Carolina Panthers have only won 1 game this season.
Is it at home next week, too?
I think it might.
Yep.
No, I think it's away.
No.
I think
It's away, and then Thanksgiving is home.
Yeah.
And okay. Sorry, I'm
But-
jumping ahead.
yeah.
I'm thinking about that Thanksgiving food already. That's what
you're
I'm
fine.
doing. I'm thinking next week's Thanksgiving. I'm
You're
hungry.
Fine, you're fine. But no, my point is that you playing teams that you should win up against, right? So I'm on the fence only because you want to be prepared for that fourth quarter moment, but then it's also like in games like maybe against the Commanders, you may have to go to battle, all the way down to the wire. So you have to prepare that depth to be in those situations. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence of like, get that game over with, send in your second string guys. And
No, you're right.
Holiday, but then it's also like, I don't know. Because,
Stay in the rhythm.
Yeah, stay in the rhythm. Because you never know what's gonna happen in games like the Commanders, the Seahawks. Even though So yeah.
Now the Carolina game is important.
Yeah.
No matter the fact that they've only won one game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They need a road win. Mm-hmm. They need one.
Yeah.
Like they for confidence, and they need a road win. And obviously too, these next few games, these are NFC games.
Yep.
So seeding matters and stuff. So they can't play around with this game. To your point, like if they're gonna go get it over with. I'm just still worried. Like, no, I'm not worried. I don't want to say that word. I hate that. But I definitely feel like at some point in time in this season, this team has to be in the fourth quarter and having to navigate that. And I'm mostly offensively, to be honest, because if you look at the defensive numbers, they've turned it on in the fourth quarter when it's necessary to get the offense the ball. It's really just the situational stuff. I think they need in-game reps and they haven't really gotten those because most of these games have been really up or really down. And so that's one thing that I'm looking at going into this stretch, to your point, is how they respond in the last parts of the game when it's not a blowout.
I also think doing that away, though, and this is a home game this weekend, so I also think doing that away and getting used to the silent count and all that is going to be valuable when we're talking next week. So this applies even into next week's game as well. But also, not feeling overly confident that you're going to get the win at home because, look,
That's a good point.
It's a great streak to have, but. I mean, hey, you don't.
Whatever.
I'm just saying you can't get overly confident with this game.
Yeah.
That is
with any game in the NFL, you can't get overly confident. So I 100% agree.
I'm saying it's valuable at home, but away as well. But no, I honestly, I'm all for getting it done in 3 quarters, wrapping it up. Let's move on to next week.
That's fair.
That's how I feel.
That's fair.
Let's go ahead and wrap up this show. But we got a pop pick. See what I did there? No, we got a pop pick, y'all. Who do y'all think is going to make the first sack on either team? I'm going Micah Parsons. I'm sorry.
Okay. I'm going Tank. I'm going Tank.
Osa.
All right. It's a good one. Their left guard and right guard are late struggling.
Good one.
Osa Odigizua. And then come Monday, I'm going to come on here and say, can you Osa Odigizua it? That's what the plan is.
Yeah, all right. Today was great. We'll see y'all. What's today? Thursday.
Thursday.
Ooh, my days are daying.
It's
daylight savings.
One of those weeks.
Ooh.
Daylight savings got me confused.
Yeah.
It has me feeling like my bedtime is at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. All right. Well, that'll do it for Girls Talk Boys Talk, presented by
Too young for
Jigsaw,
that.
the preferred dating partner of the Dallas Cowboys. We'll see y'all next week.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!